Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence, and today I'm in the bath, right? It's been a very long day. It's been a series of very long days actually. For the past 4 days I've been sleeping on a floor in Edinburgh, filming the Edinburgh Fringe Comedy Festival. And then we started to worm our way back down to London. Along the way we've taken a few pit stops to do a few errands here and there, see a few people that need to be seen, catch up with some friends that we don't get to catch up to particularly often. And at the moment I'm at a travel lodge in Bradford, and I've been out filming all day, go all the time. And I just kind of was wondering, when does it ever stop? When does the work ever stop? When do you turn off, right? So, say the average work life is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, right? You wake up at about 7, you have your breakfast, you have your shower, you have a shave. If you're a woman, you do your makeup. And then you leave the house maybe at, say, 8:30, get to work at 9, and then you work from 9 until 5, and then you probably realistically leave the office at like 5:05 or 5:10. And then you go back, maybe you do some shopping on the way back, so you do a couple errands here and there. So let's say you get back for about 6:30, right? So after with your food shop, right? And then you put your food shop into the fridge and the freezer and the cupboards, and then you start working on dinner, right? And you make dinner, and that takes probably, let's say you make a proper meal, let's say that takes like 45 minutes, of which about 20 minutes is prep, and then 25 minutes in the oven or on the hob or whatever, right? So you spend, at this point you're now at about 7 p.m, right? And you've been working this whole time. I mean, you've been doing the food shop, you've been cooking, you've been at work, you've been going to and from work, right? So you've been working all of this time, and then your food's in the oven. So maybe you do a bit of cleaning around the house while it's in the oven, right? And that takes you up till about 7:30, and then from there you sit down and you sit to dinner, and that happens at say 8 o'clock, right? And this is your first real relaxation period. Unless you have social anxiety and you're eating with your family or whatever, and you're not someone that particularly enjoys conversation, in which case this is more work, putting on a mask and all that sort of stuff. But let's not count any of that, just for the sake of just for the sake of ease, right? So now you're looking at about 8:30, right? You do the washing up. That takes you till, let's say it's quick, takes you about 15 minutes. So you're about 8:45. Now we're gonna have a shower, right? And that can take you through till about like 9:30, say, with like brushing your teeth and like all the other bits and bobs that are going on. So now it's 9:30 and you're about to go to bed, right? You go to bed at say 10, and then you fall asleep by 11, ready to do it all over again, right? Until Friday, right? So in that day, where was your relaxation period, right? Was it whilst you were on your way to and from work? If you're on public transport, then maybe you got to sit down and listen to a podcast, but if you're driving, then you certainly didn't get to relax because you're driving all the time. Is it on your lunch break? Not really, because there's that kind of air in the thing of like, I'm going to have to go back to work, So that's not particularly relaxing either. Is it when you get back? Is it when you finish work and you're kind of on your way to the shop? Maybe a little bit of relief that you're done with the hardest part of the day, but still, you got to go to Lidl or Aldi or Sainsbury's or Walmart or whatever, and you're going around there and you're doing your shopping, you're trying to remember what you need. Is like, do I need a courgette, or have I got one at home? And then you get home and the cooking's all happening. So where is all the relaxation period? Because before the cooking starts, you're probably having a quick catch up with your family, going, how was work? Oh yeah, it was all right. Same as always, really. How was school? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I got detention. You Billy, you shouldn't have gotten detention, right? So I suppose the main bit of relaxation here happens between 9:30 and 10, because I missed out that period when I was doing my little run through of the average man's day or average woman's day, and that's a little bit sort of sad. Half an hour of actual relaxation. That's not even a full episode of House. That's not even a full episode of Breaking Bad. That's not a movie. That's an episode of The Simpsons with adverts. Yeah. It's not enough time to really do much relaxing. Or maybe in bed, you get to relax a bit in bed, but going to bed shouldn't be the one nice activity of the day, really. So I'm thinking about all this, and then I'm thinking about my own schedule, which I don't follow that schedule whatsoever, because as you can see, I'm someone who uploads videos to the internet of them in a bath, in a hotel in Bradford, after having gone and filmed about 10 of these videos today, gone all over Sheffield and Bradford and Leeds today, coming down from Edinburgh, and then yesterday and the day before that and the day before that, I've been sleeping on a floor, filming the Edinburgh Film Fringe Festival, getting back at like 3, 4 in the morning, and then getting back up at 10. Well, we were meant to be getting up at 7, but realistically, you don't get very good sleep, so you wake up at 7 and you're like, fuck off, and then you fuck your whole day doing that. So I didn't get nearly as much done during Edinburgh as I would have liked. I would have liked to have filmed about twice as many of these Johnny Mozza videos as I actually did, but it is what it is, right? And maybe me sitting here in the bath, which is meant to be probably my one relaxing part of the day, right? Similar to how in that instance of this person who goes to work and comes back and has the food, right? Their one instance of relaxing is lying in bed, right? Or that one episode of The Simpsons before the bath, before they go to bed. And I'm here using my one bit of relaxing to film another Johnny Mozza video, to film more videos, to do stuff. So I'm wondering, when does it ever stop? When do we get to turn off and relax? Is it only when we get to go on those holidays once in a while, right? And I'm privileged enough that I can go on a holiday a year pretty much. I don't have mad financial commitments or anything like that. I'm not in debt or anything. So I have a lot of privilege to be able to be free to do stuff like this, right? So I'm not a normal person where I can be easily related to, but I can relate to the normal person that does that normal routine, because I have done that routine. Not that I have children or whatever for that part of the routine, but I know what it's kind of like. And then obviously having children adds so much more stress to that routine, having to make sure that they're doing their homework and making sure their nappy's changed and making sure they're not like getting caught up in fucking crack dens or whatever. There's so much stuff that you got to do to make sure that your child grows up to be a decent human being, and that's a lot of work, right? It's work all over the place, and it just makes me wonder, when do we ever stop as a human race? Were we built to be this go, go, go all the time, right? Was man made to be filming Johnny Mozza videos in a bath in a fucking hotel in Bradford? I don't believe so. I don't believe this was, I believe in God, but I don't believe this is God's purpose for us, right? I believe that we're meant to do all of that. I mean, the reason that we do all of this stuff, we go to work and all this stuff, is so that we can eventually relax. We work so that we can save up. We save up so that we can eventually spend that money in a relaxing way, right? Or pass it down to our children so that hopefully they can relax and not go through the same things that we did. And here in the 21st century, despite all the vast economic and social problems and the social regression into fascism that we're dealing with at the moment, we are incredibly lucky to be living in a world where we can just sit in a bath in a hotel in Bradford and record a Johnny Mozza video and upload it to the internet and make a few quid off it, right? We are incredibly lucky to be in that kind of position. We are incredibly lucky to have, gas stoves and, courgettes from Lidl and public transport or even a car. It's fascinating that we even have all this stuff. Take it back to the 1800s, you wouldn't have had any of this. You would have had to get your carriage to fucking work, and you would have. I remember seeing a documentary about Victorian living, and basically in the slums there, you basically rented a flat share sort of thing, but you only rented it for the time you were actually there. So you would go home, and you would be home for the 9 hours of sleep and getting ready to go back to work, right? And the rest of the time, someone else would be there. Right, so they would get 3 times the amount of rent out of one place. And then, instead of having universal credit or job seekers allowance or whatever the American equivalent is, you didn't have any of that where money was just given to you, right, because you didn't have a job. Instead, they sent you to a workhouse to do absolutely menial labour, like spiralling this fucking concrete block in circles all the time, That's what they had instead. And so we're definitely lucky to be past that. But at the same time, is this any way to live? You know, doing this much, go, go, go all the time. Was man meant to move so fast? I don't think so. And I don't know what we can do to slow down, because in the capitalist system that we live under, going at a steady pace is not encouraged, right? Going at a steady pace is heavily, heavily discouraged. We're meant to grow and expand and dominate all the time. We're never meant to just sit back and rest and allow ourselves to just take stock. We're meant to use that time to make ourselves better, to improve ourselves all the time, so that we can fight and dominate. That's what it's all about. And I wish that it wasn't like that. And I hope that the future generations way, 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 way down the line won't have to go through the same things that we have to go through. The same way that I'm glad that I don't have to go through what the Victorian peasants had to go through, where they had to work in the workhouses. So yeah, things are better now than they were many, many years ago. But many, many years from now, we will be another part of history. We will be another Victorian documentary where they'll go, oh my God, could you believe that back then they used to live like that? That's how I feel. And yeah, I don't really know how to wrap this up. I just feel that I had to get that off my chest, really. It's just a sort of a go, go, go world. And I don't think that we should be encouraging all this, and I don't know a solution to stop it. Right? People might suggest socialism or whatever political ideology they want to, solve everything. But, capitalism is a relatively new thing. It only realistically started in the 1600s, and before that we had the monarchy and monarchism and feudalism, and they were all just as if not more brutal. So, it's not just a problem with capitalism in and of itself, although capitalism is a bad thing in general. And it is certainly exacerbating these problems, and we could certainly solve them by moving to something else. But I don't know what new problems will come from that new political system or whatever. I don't know the way that we could make everything perfect, so that person that wakes up at 7 in the morning to go to work at 9, so they can get back for 6:30, so they can cook the food. What could we do there? Could we just make it so that they get back off work for 3 p.m. rather than 5 p.m, and that way they get maybe 2.5 hours to themselves rather than half an hour? That's enough to watch Inception, I suppose, but it's not long enough to watch Interstellar. So if you want to watch Interstellar, I suppose you've just got to be like higher class, or you've got to deal with having to watch it in 2 parts. But that kind of ruins the drama of it, really. It's quite an immersive film, so I wouldn't really want to watch it in 2 parts. I don't know. I just feel like me having this bath right now, I could be sitting here relaxing, and yet I'm not. I'm sitting here recording this video. So it is what it is at the end of the day, and all I can do is keep putting as much effort into each and every video that I do, keep putting as much effort into every project and freelance work that I do, going to work and trying to get as many hours at work as I can, and trying to at the same time balance all my life and errands and all that kind of stuff, so that I can one day get enough savings so that I can get a mortgage and provide for the family that I want. That's all I want at the end of the day. And I want to be there for my children, not just some figure that occasionally comes back from work tired and exhausted, because that's kind of what happens now. And yeah, it's a sad world that we live in, and I live in one of the nicest parts of it. So I can only imagine how much worse it gets, the further down the human development index of countries, because we're like 8th, the UK is like 8th on that out of 200 on that list. Say if you're like Uzbekistan or something, you're like 130th on that list. How much worse life must be. Whenever I go to certain foreign countries in Eastern Europe and the minimum wage is like three euros an hour, but the prices are the same as over here, I just think, I have it bad, but they have it so much worse, right? And I'm already feeling annoyed, right? So can you imagine how bad they feel, right? So yeah, that's going to be it from me. Please leave your comments, particularly if you're from a country that's not nearly as privileged as the United Kingdom, right? And tell me what you think about all this. Do you think that I'm just full of shite? Or do you think that there's something inherently wrong with the way that the human system is run? Whether you want to call it capitalism or whatever. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the day, and I'm gonna try my best to actually just freaking relax, you know, and just enjoy it, because I don't get this very often. I don't get to have this vastly often. So yeah, take care, everybody. Bye bye.